Okay, Miles, let's talk about the Houston Texans. Look, the draft is now about a week behind us. We can take a step back and look through each and every team's NFL draft selections and find some really quality moves that each team made. And there's one move, one pickup in particular that the Houston Texans made that I think will have a huge impact. And look, we know they dominated the first 30 minutes of the draft, Stroud and Will Anderson, but there's another move they made that has quietly gone under the radar that's, I think, going to have a massive impact for them come regular season time.
Yeah, Nick, I think everyone on the team and all the fans are going to love this pick. I think it's going to be really consequential going forward for the future. But there's a ton of picks in this draft. So I got to ask the Texans fans to let us know in the comments below, who is your favorite pick from the 2023 draft? You got to let us know in the comments below. Make sure to stay tuned to the end of today's video to hear word from our partner, Neuro. They have a product that gives you a quick and easy boost of energy. I love to take their mints before our podcast to kind of keep us sharp and focused on the right track. So stay tuned to the end of today's video to hear more about Neuro and their product and potentially get your hands on that special discount code for our listeners. But Nick, nonetheless, what is the latest really smart draft pick that the Texans have made?
Yeah, so obviously Stroud and Anderson, they basically take the headlines off the board. The moves the Texans made to go up and get Anderson, and of course taking C.J. Stroud, that'll define their draft class, at least from a high level perspective. But when you look at some of their other moves that happened later in the draft, it's starting to get some really rave reviews. And I think we're going to look at wide receiver Tank Dell from the University of Houston, the third round pick by the Houston Texans. Look, I kind of like the guy. I didn't really follow him that much coming out of college. I didn't really know what to expect of him. There's an interesting report out from Houston Sports Map that I think details high praise this kid is getting from a Hall of Fame, an all-time great wide receiver. And if you want to go ahead and throw the report, Mize, I will read from it. From the report, what should Houston Texans fans expect from rookie wide receiver Tank Dell? NFL legend Steve Smith, all-time great now, is gushing over the skill set that Dell possesses. He sees big things from the rookie playmaker from the University of Houston and believes his smaller stature won't preclude him from making a big impact on the offense. Smith sees Dell being able to line up in the slot, outside, and even in the backfield. He'll be a player that the defense has to be aware of at all times. Steve was also very impressed with Dell's route running and ability to set up defenders. All right, Mice, everyone who follows football at all knows that Steve Smith is no BS. He's a 100% honest, straight shooter, right? He's not going to beat around the bush. If he has opinions on you, good or bad, he's going to say them. And here's a guy who knows the wide receiver position. Here's a guy who knows what it takes to be successful as a wide receiver, being a little bit shorter in stature. Smith, of course, was obviously not a very big guy himself. I kind of liked the pick originally when the Texans made it, but now that we're seeing really impressive comments from Steve Smith, I'm starting to like this pick even more. And of course, there were reports that Stroud vouched for this guy as well. I'm starting to think the Texans may have a really hidden gem kind of playmaker in this Tank Dell guy. What are your thoughts, Miles? What do you think?
Yeah, Nick, I think that you touched on it briefly. It was also really impressive that C.J. Stroud and Tank Dell immediately had chemistry when they trained together at the Combine. Obviously, Tank Dell came out and said that C.J. Stroud had asked the Texans to draft Dell, so there goes a lot of weight there, potentially what we can see from him in the future. But I think Steve Smith said it best when he says he can see him being moved all around in this playmaking abilities from the slot, whether it's the outside, even the backfield. Because when you look at his draft profiles, you look at PFF, his biggest upside, they say, is a movable weapon. And that is what I'm getting from multiple different places, that he seems to be able to line up from anywhere, can send them in motion. He can actually be a dynamic playmaker from any position on the field with the speed that he has. They can get him out vertical. He's just a playmaker when you put the ball in his hands. It doesn't matter where it is at. So I really like that Steve Smith touches on that, because I'm seeing that from a couple other places. And we all know if Steve Smith says it, to me, that kind of confirms it. Like, this guy is going to be in the slot. He's going to be outside. And I even like he says he can throw him in the backfield. He can make some moves from out there. So that's very good. I think that's a very interesting move. And I just like the natural chemistry already. I'm looking forward to seeing C.J. Stroud make Dell his top target potentially going into this season, because Dell was also one of the top targets at Houston as well. He's used to that workload. But I think it's a great pickup. And I think it's going to be really interesting to see how he progresses going forward.
Yeah, and I think you hit on something, Miles, and I think this is what I want to end with, is he was incredibly productive at the University of Houston. They fed him the football from an outside receiver perspective, gave him a lot of touches, and trying to use him to create space, whether it's third down, red zone. I mean, this guy had 17 touchdowns and 13 starts last season. That is insanely productive. Pair that with 109 catches in 2021. He added 90 catches for 12 touchdowns, had a punt return score last year as well. This guy can do it all and did it all at the University of Houston. He was a third-team All-American, and that is a massive accomplishment for someone that's not from the Power 5 conferences. University of Houston, of course, is part of the Group of 5 bunch. So you got a guy here who was a really great football player in college. He already has the connections. He's getting rave reviews from guys like Steve Smith. I'm telling you what, Miles, if he keeps this train going and builds momentum and keeps working hard, which there's no reason he wouldn't keep that going, this is a guy who could be a potential rookie of the year breakout candidate for Houston. Because you better believe all eyes are going to be on CJ Stroud, and he's going to be feeding the rock to Tank Dell. It looks like this looks like a massive, really smart move by Caserio and company with the Houston Texans. All right, Miles, we would like to give a special thanks to our partner in today's video, Neuro.
That's right, Nick. And I want you to go with me on a journey really fast. I want you to imagine this. It's 4th and goal in the big game, Nick. Your team is relying on you to make the big-time game-winning play. I know you've been in this situation before, Nick. The stadium is roaring. The clock is ticking. The game is on the line. But if only in that moment you were able to have some Neuro Gum. Neuro Gum will help you stay concentrated, and it gives you a burst of energy without a nasty crash.
That's right, Miles. Neuro has thoughtfully curated ingredients and does endless lab testing, which means that you can reach the right state of mind safely and consistently. That's the most important part. It gives you a clean burst of energy and focus without the jitters of coffee or any of those other energy drinks.
That's right, Nick. And if you click our sponsor link in the description below, you can enjoy energy, calm, and focus whenever you need it.